Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. episode 15, yes, man. Now, this episode was one of the, tie-in based episodes. It of course ties in more with Thor than anyone else because it has Asgardians in it. And in this episode, we get, some background on Sif, or we at least get to see her more. We don't really get too much background outside of the fact that the main enemy of this episode basically took control of someone she used to love. I would assume it was Thor, because if you, not to spoil some stuff from the second movie, but she kind of likes Thor, so it could have been Thor. It could have been anyone else too, because she's a comic book character, so there's so much history for her character. It could have been, who knows who it is, but we get that little bit of background on her, and she comes into this episode. She works with the team to, take down Lillian, I believe her name is, or it's Lorelai, not Lillian. But she comes in to take out Lorelai, and Lorelai is gathering as many men as she can. Taking control of them to gather riches and just amass an army so that she can become the ruler of Earth, pretty much. And this episode was just, it was actually action packed. It was probably the most action based episode they've had since the series really started off, and it was a really good episode. We had some cool Asgardian fights. They were fighting on the bus. That was a cool scene towards the end of the episode when they first went against Lorelai. In the bar, and they were taking out the cops and stuff. When Sif went in there and she was just beating up the bikers, I thought that was a really good action scene. But it was also funny because she just outnumbered them so bad, or she overpowered them, so much. It was like she kicked one guy and he like flew off the ground into the air and like flew through a beam, and she was like tossing people behind the bar and just like pushing people through doors and stuff. And I thought it was funny, but it was also really cool action because they don't do that too often, because they typically don't have Asgardians coming in just punching humans all over the place. But I think she kicked like 3 or 4 people through something else during that bar scene, and I thought it was pretty cool. And then, of course, Ward gets taken over, and so he takes Lorelai to Vegas, where she can go and find rich, wealthy men who could basically give her a lot of power and a lot of money all in one go. And the team has to kind of take her down. They track them down. Then they figure out they knew we were coming pretty much, so they left. And then they find out they're on the bus, and so we get the last, I want to say like the last 15 or 20 minutes of the episode all takes place on the bus with the team, and Lorelai is trying to take over the ship and control the guys, and of course lock up the woman because the woman can't be controlled. But it was a really good episode, and they did a couple of little things here and there that were really interesting, like when Lorelai messes with May, and she tells her like he told me who he loved before me, and it wasn't you, so it was obviously Sky. And so she did that to, of course, affect May during the fight. And it kind of led to something between May and Ward towards the end of the episode, where she says if what Lorelai said was true, then you were more honest with her than you are even with yourself. And I thought that was cool. It'll kind of lead to something that we as the viewers kind of knew was coming. But it'll be cool to see how that kind of plays out, and how the relationship between May and Ward definitely changes now that she's kind of been hit with that fact that Ward does have feelings for Sky, like real feelings for Sky, and he kind of pushed him aside due to the fact that he is the typical agent type. So that's kind of why he pushed those feelings aside so that he could kind of focus on who he should be. But it was a really good episode, and then of course the ending was really good, where May convinces Coulson to tell Sky exactly what his problem is, like what he's holding on to, the secret about the miracle cure, and what exactly the problem he has with it is. And I thought it was a good scene where he says, we're gonna work on this together, we're gonna hide it from the team, and we're gonna figure this out, and find Fury. And he basically said we're gonna find Fury and make them pay. He said we're gonna find the person in charge and make them pay, which would obviously be Nick Fury. So it made it really cool, it made it really good. But we also find out that May was spying on them the whole time, and that's most likely why she convinced them, because she knew if this happened, it's obviously going to take place in Sky's little room. And once she found out, like, he officially knows that it was an alien and stuff, she calls this secure line and says, Coulson knows. And, who knows what that's going to lead to. I mean, it kind of makes it seem like she's not that cool of a person anymore because of that. But I still like May, and obviously she's following orders like a lot of people, do. And she is definitely the follow orders type of character. And also, she wasn't the one who was injected with like weird alien DNA. So she's kind of in her sort of narrow mindset at this point, like most other characters are. And Coulson and Sky are kind of in this whole new realm of things where it's like, they were injected with alien DNA. Who knows what the heck's gonna happen to them? And Fitz and Simmons have to figure out, what exactly is inside this, miracle cure. What is it that Coulson won't let us share? So it'll be cool to see how that plays out. Unfortunately, we won't get that next week because we're getting sort of a just like a Marvel special type of episode where we get sneak peeks of all the stuff coming up. So I'm excited for that because that should be interesting. It'll give us some sneak peeks of obviously the Guardians of the Galaxy coming out. Winter Soldier, I'm not too excited to get a sneak peek about that because it comes out in like 3 weeks or so. So I'm not like, of course, I want to see the movie like crazy, but I'd rather get the sneak peeks of like the new Avengers, which we'll get, and Guardians of the Galaxy rather than a movie that's I'm flat out just gonna see in like 3 weeks. But I am excited for it. It should be pretty good, and they are gonna show us what is coming up for the rest of this season. I'm not sure how many episodes we're gonna have, but I do believe we're nearing the end of this season because most shows are kind of wrapping up now in the next month or two. So I'm excited to see where the rest of the season goes. In the preview we got where in the part where they mention where the series is gonna go, they brought the guy back who has like the robotic leg. I want to say his name's John, but I'm pretty sure I'm off about that. But they're bringing him back. He had like a little rocket gun on his arm and stuff. So they're gonna have some more action. He's gonna come back, and apparently, Centipede is gonna be telling him to actually attack the agents themselves, or at least stop them from getting in his way from whatever this random mission is. Because the last time we saw him, he could have easily gone and taken out the whole team, but he was told to just leave them alone and leave Sky and don't worry about the team. So whatever the clairvoyant and Centipede has planned, it really has nothing to do with the agents. So they might not even like I said, they could just be in his way, and it's just like take him out if you have to, but if you can just walk past him, just do that and complete the mission. So we'll have to see how that works. But good episode. They had like a special name for this, like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Uprising or something. I thought it would be sort of a 2-part thing, or maybe even 3 parts or something. But it really wrapped up in this one episode. But it was still really good. I enjoyed it. The action was good. The character was good, or all the characters were good. It was a nice little change where we get a super powered character, and those are always some of the best episodes because it really challenges the team to figure out how are we going to take care of this problem. It's not just a supernatural weapon, it's an actual supernatural person taking people out who has super strength and stuff like that. So it was a good episode overall, and like I said, it did lead to some really good development within the team itself. It wasn't just oh, this is a good episode because it has Asgardians in it, one of which we actually know from the Thor movies. It's good because it does actually create development for the characters that we know. So overall, I enjoyed the episode. Comment below, let me know what you guys thought of it. Favorite parts, least favorite parts. And now that we know May is kind of outed Coulson for knowing this secret, how do you guys think things are going to go between within the team itself? Comment below, let me know, and thanks for watching.